Okay, yes, again, this is what we've come up through. And these things, these sacred word ideas, and again, growth, unfoldment, and all these things, uh, these are just the ideas that we've come through to finally get us to the point of the isness. See? So it's like taking a road trip from somewhere and finally getting to the ocean. So you no longer need all those things that you had on the road trip. Okay, you're finally there. Now you can start swimming across the sea, you might say. It's like that, Charles. And this is where people try to bring these old ideas in thinking that they're going to work, and really they don't. Because it's like the air you breathe. What is it that you need to breathe the air? See, it's an isness. The sun's shining. What is it you need? You don't. And because there's no such thing as all these things. You've been brought through these things. Just like when your mother told you stories. Cute little stories about the Easter Bunny and, whatever, Santa Claus and all these things. They're cute stories. And for the most part, you see, the social consciousness or traditional people, or it doesn't even matter what it is. Even the Indians and indigenous people had their beliefs and ideas. And these are things we've come through. And this is where each lifetime, this is why it takes so many lifetimes for all of us to wake up. Each lifetime, we decide if we're going to step into, it's really not go, but you might say stand real with this reality to figure it out. And so none of these things really work. They're really hocus pocus, all of it. And this is why, because of how things are here, people have things in their mind and their imagination, which is fine. But at the same time, how things are here. And so people create an idea and thinking that, well, this is a good idea. We'll create a community church, or we'll create a spiritual path, and we'll call it the light of light and all these things. And it's fine. Anybody can do whatever they want. But life is what it is. Okay? See, life is what it is. So it would kind of be like, I see this as I'm talking, it would kind of be like if people want water in their village and the river's way, way over there somewhere, okay? And they start digging trenches here and there and whatever, because the river is like a trench. So they dig a big trench right through the middle of their village, okay? And they can imagine and think and believe that there's going to be water there because it looks just like the river that does have water, because the river is just a trench, Trench, a trench. It's just a canal, whatever. But does it make it so? Does it make it so that all of a sudden, just because they dig the trench and they can make it look just like, they can do the riverbank and do the trees, and they can dress it all up and make it look just like it, you see? But does that mean the water is going to be there? That's how life is. It's an isness. So you've went through all these things to recognize the isness. So we're at the point, what we're doing now, instead of bringing these old things up that were used at one time, now we see them as references and pivot points to better understand what we've come through to where we are now, to where we creatively bring about something that relates to this reality in some way. And this is how we add. This is how we earn our way, is a better way to say it. Simply because it's all about, and again, I've said it many times, it's all about the me thing. What can I get? And now it's standing real for all. You see, the allness, the isness life is. It's a bigger picture. So yes, sacred, etc., all these things. And where does that word come from? It probably comes from sacrifice. Always sacrificing something. And yes, and the old term, and Paul used it too, surrender. Surrender this, surrender that. You know, that's kind of like one force meeting another, and it's like, okay, surrender yourself to us, etc. So these old terms, I see how they did apply, but compared to the isness now, they don't. They don't have any substance at all, none of it, because it's an allness. It's everything, like the sun shining. There are no ideas, there are no obstacles, there's nothing. You perceive it. Okay, so Rebazar uses these phrases. He's using the word as I created these words because this is to see it. First you recognize something. It's like, oh gee, there it is. And then you take the time to see it, and then the perceiving. I've created these words very specifically because they have their own meaning, but you have to kind of figure it out, and that is to be able to, you might say, be able to read this reality. In other words, when you see another person, and you can say, well, gee, how do I read this person? In other words, how do I understand this person? You see? So this is our position, and this is what is difficult for the world to understand, because the world is still confusing itself with old ideas that seem to be working, or people hang on to, especially emotionally, the ideas of belief, hope, and faith. They sound really good, the God ideas, etc. And constantly writing things, giving hints, but I don't want to hammer that all the time. But again, these are invented ideas that we've come through, and realistically, the isness of life has always been what it is, and it's just up to what point we recognize that. So the so-called sacred words, or whatever that we use at the particular time, it's just like when you went to school in the different grades. There's no difference in the homework assignments or what you learned at that time. You can say that those were your secret words. You see? It's all the same thing. Yeah, because realistically, nothing is secret. There's no such thing. Again, we use that idea, secret this and secret that. I've used that a few times, but I don't really use it much. It's really kind of corny, and really it's marketing ploy. The marketers take over everything, just like Joni took over the corporation. It's all marketing. Is there any substance there? No, there's nothing there. It's just a business. That's all it is. It's just the shell. The reality of what Paul brought was Paul himself, and how he recognized this reality and brought it through. When he was finished, it was done. And what is it that Darwin and Harold recognized after that? You see? The guides, the Rebazar and the real boys, and the boys, the real guides, and the isness, they babied people along still with that position. But there was no recognition there. It was actually, like I said, a takeover. I just did another group, more so defining this, because, again, here and there relating to these things, because people are still trapped in them. So they think that they have they're thinking in their minds, I got my higher initiation, and I received a word. Well, where did they get that word from? Again, the NUUU is it. Well, this is what I saw. Well, when I was shown it, the NU. Do you notice that it's NUUU? The U represents the U, but it's YU now, but it's the U represents the is. And so when I was shown the new, okay, that is the sound, I added the U. And it became NUUU because that's how I saw it. I recognized that it was the new you, which is the new is. because it's new every moment. And so there has been an extension to this, and it was years ago, and it was actually an African, and I saw this before, but it became confirmed, but people can do it any way they want. Rebazar told this one African that was being attacked by the dark side and tapline and all this, sing the NUUU, okay? It extends it. And so this is the reality that corresponds from where we're at with the isness right now, because that is what you might say is agreed to. And everything else, no matter how sacred or what people think, fine. They have the right to have whatever they want. But again, it's like the sun shining, is it agreeing to it? See, and do the boys back it up? They are the intermediates for all of us at this position in creation, etc. And what is it that they agree to? Yes, they will help people in the corporation and other paths and whatever that I've talked about, whatever. It's not that they're good or bad or right or wrong. It's a choice that everybody makes. And so, again, all these cliches that we've come up through, again, the isness will agree to these things to bring the individual along till eventually they recognize something. But in the meantime, what has taken place, just like with the corporation and all these other paths, they're still using the hue, their tap line, etc. Well, the individual is not going to get the benefit of the isness life is by simply holding on and blocking out this reality, because it's you might say it's touchy in a way. You know, we have to allow this. And so if a person is steadfast and headstrong on holding on to what they've known that does not correspond to this reality, well, it cannot change that. It cannot wake them up, nor can the boys. The real guides are constantly trying to show people on the real side the first step, how to wake up. But if they don't want to, they won't. It's just that simple. Nothing is forced upon the individual, because this is how the isness life is. So again, all these things that we've come to know. And so we're in the new nowness, and the new nowness is to be actively creative with what is taking place now with the isness. And while you're doing this, you're earning your way to wake up and recognize how to better connect and present and stand real with the true reality life is, and not just ideas again. You see, Charles? So yeah, that's the fun part. So you have a little better understanding of what's going on here. So this is why I don't cater to any of these cliches, because guess what? They don't work. And after a while, you've just got a bunch of sound good things, just like in the 50 years of the corporation, the lady recognized that, hey, don't need all the parables anymore, you see, because they don't work. The pretty words don't work. Let's get real. Let's get on with creating something that relates to this true reality, instead of things that just sound good for ourselves. Yes, we have that part too. You make it an enjoyable, fun experience. That's how it relates to yourself, by providing what makes sense to better understand this isness, you see? And so the world has been trained a particular way, and it accepts that. And for the most part, it's marketing ploy by the controllers, the human farmers of this planet. And how many see through that? Even when people, think they see through the government and all these things, they're still agreeing with the demise of the planet. They don't see it. It's a huge course to recognize what's really taking place here. And so we're the ones doing it. So to stay steadfast with this and stay focused with this Yeah, that's huge because it's really easy to fall back into something that where it's a non-think position, you just kind of go along with everybody else. And so it's easy to just, this is why some people have left. They go to these other things and they go to the old ideas of, enlightenment, the source, and all these things like that. And again, they're just ideas. Do the real guides back these things? Would it make sense that they back things of the past and really are distortion? And most of this stuff is taken over by the reptilians. It looks good. It's like the corporation, all reptilians. It's taken over by reptilians, and they have a bunch of unaware people there still supporting it, worshiping and praying to what? No such thing as gods, etc. So it's a choice. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just showing people, and it actually becomes a warning because again, this lifetime goes fast. So again, I would say look at yourself through all five bodies and to your awareness and that recognition, your real awareness, and are you holding on to these things that don't matter? Because again, it's just like extra baggage. To what do you need it? Yeah. So we're all the sun shining and more. And it's actually a lot more fun to perceive every moment the isness, and at the same time provide something here, yes, for yourself and the whole of life that makes sense. This becomes the real adventure and the challenge. You need that challenge. And that's the fun part. Yeah, yes, to do more than what you've ever decided. Will you do it?
This planet Earth needs a lot of help from all of us right now. Dean Val of NUUU, Nations United, UNUversal, UNUversity, is contacting people around this world every day to share the importance of the all-natural environment supporting all of us. Dean Val and Duane Lee Hepner.org 501c3 have created CAN, Community Action Network, to help all communities become aware of how to be self-sufficient with permaculture and food and rainforests. We are always looking for real people to step up, who want to learn what life on this earth is all about. We will be leasing large portions of land to create something wonderful for all communities everywhere. Contact Val Vitals on Skype and Facebook to get involved with what we all can do now, or through the phone number provided or the website in the links. Duane the Great Writer.net. Join us for weekly environment awareness Skypes every Sunday at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The NUUU, Nations United, UNUversal, UNUversity, is dedicated to supporting and providing a real purpose and real awareness with the all-natural environment supporting all of us. First comes this earth with food and rainforests, and to protect what is still here. For those who have the awareness to see what is actually taking place here, with all the natural devastation, which is also purposely planned by world controllers, you now have a real opportunity to step up and do something with those who also care about your planet Earth. Duane Lee Hepner has created the NUUU, Nations United, UNUversal, UNUversity, which completely entails the all-natural environment everywhere, and a real education that has real value, and that far surpasses any commonly created indoctrinating educational system that does not focus on what sustains all of us naturally. Real survival makes sense with everything here that is self-sustaining.